He convinced him to climb an apple tree. While the devil was in the branches, Jack carved a cross into the trunk, trapping him once more. The devil swore he would never claim Jack's soul. Hello everyone, you're watching Lows and Lashes and I am Swanali. Today, once again, I'm going to share with you 2 horror folklores while doing my makeup. So, let's get started. Listen closely, for this is a story stubborn as an ember, one that travelled from peat bogs and cold stone cottages to lantern-lit porches across an ocean. It is the tale of a man called Stingy Jack, and why on the darkest night of autumn we carve faces into vegetables and set tiny fires inside them. Long ago, accounts differ, storytellers in Ireland began whispering about Jack sometime between 1600s and the 1800s. In some retellings, he is a crafty smith, in others, a trickster drunk. The details shift like mist, but the heart of the legend is the same. Jack was a clever, greedy, and not to be trusted person. One night, the devil himself decided to see if the stories were true. In the story, most often told, Satan took the guise of a man and found Jack in a village pub. They drank and they argued. And Jack, true to name, could not resist bargaining away more than his last coin. Jack tricked the devil into changing into a coin so Jack could pay for more ale. But once the devil was a coin, Jack popped him into his wallet next to a silver cross, and the devil could not change back. Jack only set him free after extracting a promise. The devil would not claim Jack's soul for 10 years. A decade later, the devil returned. This time Jack begged for the last apple from a tree. When the devil climbed up to fetch one, Jack again trapped him, this time by carving crosses into the tree's trunk. The devil promised reluctantly never to take Jack's soul. And then, as all such tales warn, Jack died. Neither heaven nor hell would let him in. Heaven rejected him for his deceit, and the devil, bound by his bargains, would not claim him. Left alone in the dark, the devil tossed Jack a single ember to light his eternal wandering. Jack put that ember inside a hollow turnip, or in other local tellings, a beet, and thus became Jack of the Lantern, condemned to roam the world with a flickering light. This is a short, shiver-inducing version. But listen now for the living threads of history woven through the tale. Through the centuries, rural Ireland and Scotland had a harvest custom. At Samhain, the ancient festival that fell on the final day of October, the doorway between seasons and between worlds. People would light fires, live out their foods for the dead, and carve faces into root vegetables to ward off wandering spirits. These carved lanterns were originally made from turnips, beets, or large roots, not pumpkins. People would hollow them out and set a coal or candle inside to frighten or confuse any restless souls roaming that night. When Irish immigrants crossed the ocean during the mid-1800s, many fleeing the potato famine of the 1840s, they brought their stories and customs with them. In North America, they found a new forgiving canvas, the pumpkin, big, hollow, and perfect for lantern making. The pumpkin replaced the turnip, and the carved face became, by the late 19th century, a fixture of All Hallows Eve. A small concrete echo of that shift appears in the newspapers. In 1886, a Canadian paper reported children sacrificing pumpkins to make transparent heads lit with tallow candles, a clear sign of the old custom that had adapted to the new land and a new harvest. Folklore and ordinary life braided tightly. In villages, families carved faces into vegetables and left them near the door as protection, practical, superstitious, and communal. The figure of Stingy Jack became a cautionary emblem: trick the sacred or the social, and you might be fated to wander, an unquiet lesson repeated at hearths and in pubs. And now, for some real life moments that show how legend becomes living practice in museums and folklore collections across Britain, Ireland, and North America, you can find 19th century accounts describing turnip lanterns and folk practices around October 31st, that is, Halloween Eve, and Samhain. These are not just storybooks, they are reports from parish journals, school diaries, and newspaper snippets that recorded small rituals. People carving root vegetables and placing embers inside them to guide or repel souls. Even in the modern times, this story acts like a compass in communities reclaiming their folklore. Museums, heritage festivals, and harvest fairs, storytellers perform the Stingy Jack tale to remind audiences of why we light the lanterns at Halloween. And friends, that is the story of Stingy Jack. Let's move on to our new story, that is the Jersey Evil. Deep in the heart of southern New Jersey, among the twisted pines and sandy soil, lies a story that has haunted settlers, soldiers, and school children over 3 centuries. A story of a creature born not of nature, but of curse. This is the tale of Jersey Devil. The legend begins in the year 1735. In a small cabin in the Pine Barrens, a woman, known to locals as the Mother Leeds, went into labor with her 13th child. Exhausted, impoverished, and perhaps desperate, she cried out a curse. Let this one be devil. When the baby was born, it appeared normal, but before gathered midwives' eyes, the infant twisted and grew, sprouting wings like a bat, a horse's head, and cloven hooves. With a blood-curdling screech, it lashed out, killed the midwife and its own mother. Versions differ, and flew up the chimney, disappearing into the black woods of the Barrens. From that night forward, locals whispered of a winged demon roaming in the pine forests. They call it the Leeds Devil, after Mother Leeds. Over time, newspapers and pamphlets would give it the name we know today, the Jersey Devil. One of the earliest accounts came in 1740, when a clergyman was said to have exorcised the devil for 100 years, though the sightings never stopped. And in 1778, during the American Revolution, Commodore Stephen Decatur, a naval hero, reportedly fired a cannonball at the creature while testing his guns near the Barrens. The cannonball passed straight through the beast without causing any harm. Even great men of history were not spared its legend. Joseph Bonaparte, the brother of Napoleon, claimed to have seen the Jersey Devil while hunting near his estate in Bordentown, New Jersey in the early 1820s. He described a strange, winged animal that vanished before he could fire a shot. The devil's fame grew in the 19th century as local newspapers began reporting attacks on livestock, chickens, sheep, even dogs. Farmers found mysterious tracks in the snow or sand, cloven prints too deep, too far apart, and sometimes leading straight onto rooftops. These reports stoked panic in the rural communities, where belief in curses and demons were still young. But the most famous panic struck in January 1909. For one entire week, southern New Jersey and even parts of Philadelphia were gripped in terror. Newspapers reported hundreds of sightings, the devil flying over towns, attacking trolley cars, and leaving unearthly footprints in snow-covered yards. School closed, workers stayed home. Police officers swore they had seen the creature perched on rooftops or darting across roads. Some even fired at it, but the monster flew off unharmed. Families huddled indoors, children kept from school, the air filled with the rumor. Every crunch outside the window might have been the devil's hooves. The press called it the Jersey Devil Scare of 1909, and it remains the single largest wave of sightings in the creature's history. Through the 20th century, the Jersey Devil became less terrorizing and more a cultural icon. Campfire tales, carnival posters, and even minor league hockey. And that is the story of Jersey Evil. And friends, with that we come to the end of this episode. That is all I could find over internet and books about Jersey Devil and Stingy Jack. If you have any further suggestions or any further information regarding this folklore or any other suggestion regarding any other folklore, please